Hey everyone, the professor here. Yes, kicking the new Dolphins hat. Let's get into our crude oil analysis video. Now we know we have this open gap here that was created on Sunday. Here is the official gap here. We closed here on Friday and this is where we opened up. Now we did see price. Let me get rid of this arrow here. We did see price take off on Sunday. So as price came back down, those of you that are in my members area, congratulations. We had a phenomenal day today. We established this zone here based on previous structure way over to our left. Okay, so what we did today was very simple. And I kind of want to go over a recap because this is still going to be a very strong zone until the zone shows a different type of resistance above the zone turn support. Now on Sunday, right, this was that fake breakout. Okay, this was a fake breakout of previous resistance. A lot of people got trapped into long buys here. Okay, and I've been saying this ever since this huge gap that happened on Sunday. I am not looking to buy crude oil. I've allowed crude oil to come up to this area on 4 different occasions today, and we took sells. So let's go over it just so you can also learn and look at what's going on here. So we had price kind of come down, and I'm going to grab a brush here real quick, come down and do this pattern. We wanted to see kind of price come back up into this section here. And again, this was the first sell that we took from here, and we grabbed our 20 points. We then had price come back up again into this area right up here, and I'm going to be highlighting them here. Okay, back into this area. And again, we know that in my group, we're taking 20 points at a time. We grabbed our 20. We had price come back up into the zone. What did we do? We took it right back down to another 20. We then had this consolidation. Some folks were kind of stuck right in this area, but ultimately price came back down and gave us our 20. We then had price come back into this area right in here. And let's expand that circle a little bit. Okay, and we took another 20, however you took that. Okay, for those folks that kept on trading later in the day, it happened again here. They took another 20 or whatever they took. It happened again here multiple times, but I'm just going to highlight one. And then we had price come back here one more time. And I know some folks caught some late. So that's kind of where we are at. Okay, so when you look at what happened today, we can clearly see that we are in this nice consolidation box area. And I'm going to change this color to, let's make it orange. We are in this nice consolidation area when it comes to crude oil. So for folks that say it's hard to trade consolidation, in my opinion, it's actually easier to trade consolidation because they're giving you parameters, right? They're giving you a top and they're giving you a bottom. But again, to me, it would be riskier to try and buy here, thinking that at any point, crude oil can just turn back around and start filling that gap. So again, the good news is that we still have this open gap down in this area. So I will continue to only be a seller. Even if crude oil takes off above here, retests and goes up, I will then start to sell from these highs area. But what I want you to do right now is I want you to go ahead and pause this video and make sure that you have these areas marked on your TradingView account. Now, a lot of folks will message me and say, hey, professor, my price on my broker is different than the TradingView price. And that's okay, because structure should look the same when it comes to your broker. So find this consolidation point in your broker, right? Whether your price is 87 or 81 or 82. And what you want to do is you want to go ahead and mark this up here so you have it for the rest of the next 24 to 48 hours. So there's only going to be a couple of different scenarios that could happen. So price may come back up towards this area. And if we don't get a closure above here, and I'm going to make this, let's make this green. Okay, if we do not get a closure, okay, then price will reject again and then start heading back down. Okay, if we get a closure, okay, understand that what happened over here. Okay, so again, in my opinion, we'd have to close above this wick. Okay, if we're going to go up to the next zone, which is going to be about 88 to 89. Okay, that's the next major zone. So we would have to close above that wick to move forward. Now, we may get this type of scenario that you get price to move up, come back down to retest this area, and then continue moving forward. Hey, that's great, okay? Because if that happens and the gap has not closed yet, then this will become a major sell area up in this section right in here, okay? So again, this will be another major sell area if we get this first scenario happening, meaning price just shoots up and continues to move up, okay? The other scenario could be that we get that rejection and then price begins to work its way down. I'll keep using this arrow into this next area right in here. And again, if we notice right over here, we have a wick, okay? The confirmation that we're going to head down towards that gap is going to be a closure down in this section. Okay, now what's probably going to happen in this section, once we close below that wick, is then we're just going to see the opposite. We may get the retest in this area and then back down to close this huge gap area that is still open over 100 points in the gap. So again, I think personally, again, we keep trading what we see, but it is my opinion that I believe that by Friday of this week, we will close that gap. It'll be forced down by either some type of news, or we know that this gap was created because of the tension over in Israel. And so any conversation of a truce, of a ceasefire, anything of that nature, I think will spark crude oil to come back down and have to close this major gap. So these are kind of our scenarios for the next 24 to 48 hours. Obviously, one of these two scenarios may play out. And really the last scenario could be that we just continue to stay in this pattern until there's a decision about what's happening in Israel, right? And so again, you can have a very low risk, high reward wherever you sit here. For me, I will purposely just sit up in this area as long as the gap is open to continue selling from these areas. I am not going to be a buyer down here. I rather take these sells at these higher points here. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at right now with crude oil. And let me go ahead and remove this real quick off the chart. So I've given you kind of three scenarios just to recap. Recap scenario number one is this scenario that we just break above this zone. We continue above 87.19. We come back down to retest and we head up towards 88. Scenario number two is that we come down, we reject here. We take another sell from this point. We come down here. And then if we continue breaking below this wick of 84.60, then we're going to close the gap. Or we just stay consolidating between 86.50 and 85, and then we continue to look for those sell opportunities in that consolidation point. Okay, so I hope you got some value. This is my midweek, much shorter video than the Sunday analysis because we have to look at what is currently happening right now with crude oil. Right, looking at the bigger time frames right now for structure does not matter because this is one of those weeks that something outside the norm is happening. We had the big gap created because of the issues in Israel. And so I think oil will stay in a very consolidative state until there is a decision whether war breaks out, crude oil will then rise, or there's a ceasefire, there's a truce, and then crude oil will drop. In the meantime, scalping, in my opinion, will be the best way to approach crude oil, especially until we decide which direction it definitely wants to go in. Okay, I hope you got some value. If you did, definitely smash the like button for me. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you're a member in my members group, of course, as you know, I'll continue providing updates inside of our private chat area. Have a great day, everyone.